Good evening. Welcome to Atlanta Live. I'm Pastor B.J. Arnett with Kingdom Reality Ministries in Union City, Georgia. And my very first guest on the program is Kurt Dowland. Thank you so much for being here on Atlanta Live and doing what you do in Africa, which is help people get water. You are Water Wells for Africa, and it's waterwellsforafrica.org. Correct? And, you know, we've been, as we always do, we're talking before the cameras come over here. And we were just talking about how you get people to understand what you do and some of the things that you're going to have to do as you come up to. There are 5 villages that you were just telling me about that are in one place that you can't really just get to very easily, and you're going to have to trailer water systems in.
Tractor it in, yeah.
Trailer tractor it in. I know that you go to remote places to actually help people get water. But talk to us about what caused you to get to a place in your life that would put this on your heart so hard that you would go to these remote places. Because earlier you were telling me this, you love going to these remote places. You know, not everybody's cut for that.
No.
Not everybody even can understand it.
With us to do this.
Yeah, but talk to us about some of the things that God has done in your life that would allow you to be able to understand and have a heart for this kind of mission work.
Well, you know, it's an interesting journey, and it is an interesting story because you don't just end up over there overnight. It takes a long time for your heart to be prepared to even do something like this. So I was a missions pastor at a large church for 15 years. And in 1991, actually probably 1990, a missionary came through and was just talking to us about some of the needs in Africa. And I was thinking, gosh, that's so far away. What could one person do? Well, what can you do? And my idea of a mission trip was an open window in a Hilton.
And that was mission enough for you at that time.
That was mission enough. We had some mission projects in Mexico because I'm from California.
Right.
And we had some projects down there, but it's building projects and things like this. So to think about going to Africa was a huge step of faith. But just to be willing to step out and to do that and to let God take you and to see what he does with you. So one, you just got to be willing to risk. You got to be willing to believe God to do things through your life. So in 1991, we had our first trip. We went to South Africa and working among the Xhosa people in the Transkei area. And it's not hard to fall in love with Africa. It's not hard to fall in love with African culture and people. But it's also not hard to see how the struggle that they have every single day just for the basic necessities of life.
The things that we take for granted here in the United States.
We can't even believe what we take for granted here.
Yeah.
And then, so we began this love affair with Africa in 1991, and we'd go every year with summer outreach teams. And in 1994, we had an opportunity to go up to Malawi. Malawi is just a couple countries up from South Africa. It's one of the top 10 suffering countries in the world.
Wow.
In 1994, that's when Rwanda was big in the news, and people were trying to help Africa. And I had a friend who was a stuntman who, for Charlie Sheen, as a matter of fact, and Charlie wanted to do something in Africa. But there's nothing that could be done in Rwanda simply because there was corruption and the food wasn't getting in. There was so much attention there.
Right.
So we did a little research and found out that Malawi is one of those countries that just suffers in silence. It's a little known country, and we decided to go and just see just to see what we could find when we went there. So in September 94, we went and traveled in the southern part of Malawi. It's a long, skinny country. And there'd been a civil war in Mozambique. And there was a huge flood of refugees that had come into the southern part. And we met village leaders and local pastors and things like that. And then we saw women carrying these huge buckets of water. And there was no visible water source, and we didn't know where they were going. There was no village anywhere. And I was thinking, where do they get the water? And where are they going?
Where are they going?
How long has she been walking with that? And so I just felt moved and compelled to try to do something about it. So it took a couple of years, actually. 1996, we put in our first borehole, deep water borehole. And we were able to go and to visit that place and to watch it being drilled and to participate in that and to see the enormous joy
on their faces.
Something so simple as water so dry. Really makes such a huge difference in people's lives. So we did one, and then we said, let's do another one, and let's do another one. And then it just became a journey of obedience to see where it would go and where it would take us. And we just decided that we wanted to help the most desperate people. We wanted to get out into the places of the greatest need. We wanted to be the first water that they've ever had in places where they've never ever had a sustainable quality water source.
Okay, you know, in the United States, where everybody's, and you hear it all the time now, we've got to have pure water. Where everybody's getting filters and this and bottled water, and we go to the this, that, and the other store.
They won't even drink water out of a tap anymore.
And, right. And you're talking about going to a country and they're excited when you drill for a well and they actually have water. We're not talking about folks having water in their homes.
No.
We're talking about coming to the community well in the village. And still the women are having the buckets.
They still
and the bowls.
Very
hard to get that water.
We call it running water.
Yeah, they're the running water.
They are.
They're the running
girls and women are the chief collectors of water in developing countries like that.
Yes.
So they will go where they have to go and do what they have to do in order to get water. So to have a stable and sustainable water source that's clean and healthy is still such a shift for them. It's still such a treasure to them.
Yes, yes.
Even in certain cases when the water table drops in some of the little pits that they still will get water out, they have a place they can go to and get water.
What, you know, before you drill a well, and in this particular area that you were speaking of, how long was the average walk to get the water that the women and girls were going to get? To bring back to their village?
Yeah, each place is different and it depends. They say in Africa the average journey is 4 miles. Well, I have seen them walk as farther than that. It depends. So if you live near a creek or a dry riverbed,
right.
And it depends on if you're in the mountains or if you're in a plateau. So we've seen them, like we were talking earlier about the 5 villages that we found in this mountainous area. We were going to put 1 borehole in there, but when we actually went and visited, met with the people, saw them, we determined there's 5 villages there. There's 5,000 people.
And one is just not going to be enough.
And one is not enough.
And what did you call it? You said boreholes?
Borehole, boring. No, it's like borehole, deep water borehole. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big machine they bring out, and it drills basically a hole which can be 150 feet deep, so that you can reach a good aquifer, a good place of pure, clean water.
So with the 5,000 people that were in this area, how many did you end up?
Well, actually, this is an area of concern right now. I just got a call from our representative in Malawi who said that people are dying up there. They're in desperate need of water. So this is one of our projects right now that we want to meet this particular need. And that'll probably cost us about $70,000 just because of getting all the equipment up there, getting the people up there, getting the piping in there, doing the survey, getting the committee together, and those sorts of things. It'll be a little bit expensive project, but in the long run, it's pennies.
It's pennies.
It's pennies.